This is a mini lesson on how to make an inference. Before we get right into depth about what an inference is, let's look at a short example first. Read the following sentence. Walker received a funny email from his friend Lily. Which of the following sentences goes best with this statement? A. Walker will write back to Lily. Or B. Walker will buy something on the internet. Do you have your answer? All right, let me model my thinking as I was looking for the correct answer. For A, most people respond to emails from friends. I know this because that's what my friends and I do, so it would make sense for Walker to do that too. Since the email from Lily was funny, Walker will probably mention something about that when he answers her. For B, although Walker could buy something while he's on the internet, there's nothing in the sentence that suggests he will. So I'm going to go with A as the correct answer. Is that what you got? A writer doesn't always explain every fact or detail about something, because they expect that readers will fill in missing information from their own experience. Readers do this by putting together what they already know and what they have read to make the best guess they can. When readers add information from their own experience to what is stated in a text, they are making an inference. People make inferences all the time, not only in their reading but in other ways as well. For example, people make inferences when they look at a photograph or see someone walking by on the street. So how do I make an inference? When you read a passage, you are not always given every fact or detail. How do you learn what the unstated information is? One way is by making inferences. While you read, you might ask, what else do I know about this subject? And how does what I know fit what I have already read? These questions that you're asking help you make an inference. An inference is a kind of guess made after thinking about what you have read and what you already know. All right, let's read a passage and see what we can infer from it. Mummies, the preserved bodies of the dead, were made at least 7,000 years ago in Chile by the Chinchorro people. The Inca of Peru also made mummies of their dead kings about 3,000 years ago. In ancient China, people tried to preserve emperors in suits made of jade. Of course, the best-known mummy makers were the early Egyptians, who spent up to 70 days preparing a body. Now think about how people today honor their dead. Then, recall the facts in the passage. Make an inference. How might ancient people have felt about the dead? Were you able to infer anything about how ancient people might have felt about the dead? Let's look at my answers and see if any of ours match up. The first thing I could infer is that ancient people honor the dead. This is because they spend so much time preserving their dead, the dead's bodies. I also could infer that maybe only wealthy people were preserved. Today, everybody gets a funeral, whether you're rich or if you're poor. But the Incas and Chinese preserved emperors and kings. It didn't say anything about the peasants. Finally, I would think that these ancient civilizations probably had religion and believed in an afterlife. Today, most funerals take place in churches and temples, so it would make sense that maybe happened in the past as well. In conclusion, an inference is a kind of guess made after thinking about what we have read and what we already know. It didn't say in the passage that they only preserved wealthy or that they believed in an afterlife, but I was able to use my experience and what I know to make those connections and infer those things from the text.